St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News Package for today, Friday, 26 April 2019. In our lead stories nationally, High Court in Charlestown to be renamed in honor of Nevis's most senior lawyer, and Rawlings granted bail following shooting incident at his home. Regionally, Jamaica Cannabis Authority approves 11 additional licenses, harvest expected in 4 months. Internationally, Sri Lanka bombing's ringleader died in hotel attack according to the country's president. And in sports, defending champions Gingerland Secondary School commences tournament on winning note. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. The High Court in Charlestown is said to be renamed after one of Nevis's long-standing attorneys at law. Following a ceremony at the apron of the courthouse on Sunday, 28 April, the law court will be renamed in honor of Mr. Theodore L. Hobson, QC. The event is expected to begin at 4 p.m. and conclude at 5:30 p.m. The honor is being bestowed upon Mr. Hobson for his long and distinguished career in the legal profession and for his outstanding contributions to the island of Nevis. Mr. Hobson is Nevis's most senior lawyer and has been a part of the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association for over 5 decades. He was admitted to the Bar of St. Christopher and Nevis on November 12, 1963. Elmoth Rawlings of Hermitage Road, Old Road, St. Kitts, has been granted bail after being charged for the offenses of attempted murder and grievous bodily harm. The offenses for which he is charged were committed on April 15, 2019, and were in relation to an incident that took place at his home. Rawlings was granted bail on his own recognizance in the sum of EC $1,000. He is set to appear at the Diep Bay Magistrate Court on Monday, July 1, 2019. On Monday, 15th April at 7 a.m., Rawlings shot and injured in the neck with his licensed firearm Dijon Richardson of Buckley's, who had previously been doing electrical work on the premises with his stepfather. Richardson was transported to the JNF General Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery and was warded in a critical condition. Rawlings, along with his firearm, were taken into police custody. The People's Action Movement PAM Party will host its annual national convention at the PAM headquarters at 3 p.m. under the theme Winning More Convention 54. Earlier this week, the party held its 54th annual Delegates Convention caucus on Wednesday. At the caucus, delegates from all 8 constituencies discussed the party's business and subsequently voted to elect the 2019-2020 executive body that will govern the affairs of the party for 1 year. All posts were up for election with the exception of the party leader, the Honorable Sean Richards, who will retain his position as leader for another 2 years. The new executive includes the Honorable Sean Richards, party leader, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, deputy leader, the Honorable Lindsey Grant, deputy leader, H.E. John L. Powell, chairman, Jacqueline Howell, deputy chair, Shirley Julius, general secretary, Azad Gums, assistant general secretary, Charles Morton, Treasurer, and John L. Rollins, Public Relations Officer. Therefore, the executive-elect will be ratified at the convention on Sunday, April 28th. The guest speaker will be BVI's Premier, Andrew Foy. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, has lauded the 33 recruits of the 43rd Training Course of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force choosing to serve in the capacity as future law enforcement officers. The majority of them are from outside of St. Kitts and Nevis. The 33 recruits who will serve in the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force after graduation, expected to be in July, are drawn from Jamaica, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and home country, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Prime Minister Harris also held a luncheon with the recruits at the Blue Seafood Restaurant on the beach at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. According to a breakdown provided by Inspector Eldrin Dickerson, Police Training Course 43 had 19 recruits from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 7 recruits from St. Kitts and Nevis, 5 recruits from Grenada, while Jamaica and Dominica have 1 recruit each. Protecting our children. That is the theme of a series of meetings organized by the Ministry of National Security, National Intervention Community Policing Team earlier this month on how children and teenagers can be protected from various forms of crime and violence. Residents of Constituency Number 3 attended a meeting recently to which they gave their feedback to help the police improve their efforts in engaging the people of the communities in which they operate. The meeting in Constituency Number 3 drew the support of Parliamentary Representative for Constituency Number 3, the Honorable Conris Maynard, and Deputy Speaker and the People's Labour Party candidate for Constituency Number 3, Senator Akila Byron Nisbet. Honorable Maynard stated that, and I quote, "We have to get to our young people, especially our young men, to help them understand that we want to see the best for them. I fully support any efforts in the fight against crime and making our society a better one," end of quote. Meanwhile, Ms. Akila Byron Nisbet said the information that was discussed at the meeting should be shared in the wider community to strengthen the policing efforts in the fight against violence and crime. She encouraged parents, families, and schools to get involved because this initiative would aid toward a complete change in the whole structure of our communities and in our young men and women. Scholarship opportunities continue to be made available for citizens of Nevis who are desirous of furthering their education. This comes as the Medical University of the Americas, MUA, and the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, announces that it will be offering 2 scholarships from May 13th to June 28, 2019, for the period 2019-2020 towards the pursuit of undergraduate studies, which leads to a degree at an accredited higher learning institution. According to a release from Ministry of Health, preference will be given to qualifying schools within the Caribbean region, including the University of the West Indies and the University of Technology. Applicants interested in pursuing medicine at the Medical University of the Americas are also eligible for this scholarship. To qualify, one must be at least 18 years of age, a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, must have at least 5 CXC or CSEC passes, including mathematics, English, and 1 science, and must be active in community service. Priority areas for 2019-2020 MUA-NIA scholarship included but are not limited to nutrition, dental hygiene, environmental health, health education, biomedical engineering, occupational speech therapy, chemistry, special education, and social work. The scholarships will be awarded to begin studies during the period August 2019 to February 2020. Finally, the Department of Agriculture in St. Kitts held its 2019 Agriculture Open Day from Thursday, April 25th to Friday, April 26th under the theme Food Security for Our Country. The Open Day, like the one here on Nevis, is an annual event to showcase local produce and products, as well as to give local vendors an opportunity to generate income. The event began with an opening ceremony on Thursday, which was held at the Department of Agriculture's conference room at La Grite. Director of Agriculture Melvin James mentioned that in light of the theme, everyone should play his or her part to help St. Kitts and Nevis achieve food security. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, also shared the same sentiments and said the ministry is playing its part to ensure that the Federation achieves food security. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of Jamaica at the 2019-2020 sectorial debate in the Jamaica House of Representatives on Tuesday, Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Aldi Shaw announced that the Cannabis Licensing Authority CLA has approved 11 additional applications for licenses in the medical cannabis industry. Meanwhile, farmers in Accompong St. Elizabeth, who are part of the government's cannabis cultivation pilot project, are preparing to harvest medical cannabis within 4 months. Shaw noted that the CLA received 627 applications leading up to March 31st. 33 licenses have been issued to date. 178 applications are at the conditional approval stage, preparing to pass CLA's due diligence process and to receive their licenses subsequently. At the Montpelier Agricultural and Industrial Show in St. James on Monday, Minister with a portfolio in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, William James Charles Hutchinson, informed participants that farmers in Accompong have already received their seedlings. The CLA implemented Alternative Development Program and the Cannabis Program in Accompong, St. Elizabeth and Orange Hill, Westmoreland is all-encompassing to provide Jamaica's small-scale traditional farmers with a commercial opportunity and legal process to benefit from the lucrative cannabis industry. Out of the Bahamas, the Bahamas Tourism Minister, Dioniso de Aguilar, has said that the country might need to create new legislation to prevent cruise ships from dumping sewage in the waters. De Aguilar said he is very concerned about allegations emerging from a U.S. court case that Carnival cruise ships had dumped nearly 500,000 gallons of sewage in Bahamian waters in 2017. Speaking to the local press, De Aguilar explained that the government there had only learned that the cruise line was polluting its waters as a result of reports about a U.S. judge threatening to ban Carnival ships from U.S. ports. Carnival Corporation was fined $40 million and given 5 years probation after pleading guilty in 2016 in numerous charges relating to illegal dumping in the oceans. When the company failed to address the issues and during the probation period illegally discharged nearly 500,000 gallons of treated sewage in Bahamian waters, Judge Patricia Seitz threatened to ban the cruise company from American ports and had also threatened to jail the directors. Carnival is slated to develop a new cruise port in Grand Bahama, and despite the company's claim that environmental issues are extremely important to it, the U.S. court found that in addition to the sewage dump in the Bahamas, the cruise line had committed numerous other environmental violations across the globe. Out of the BVI, Premier of the British Virgin Islands BVI, Mr. Andrew A. Foy, revealed on Thursday that he has been receiving death threats since he won the general elections in February. Premier Foy told Parliament that there have been 3 major threats to his life and that the matter is now classified as a national security issue. He said that the Commissioner of Police, Michael B. Matthews, is aware of the threats to assassinate him. Premier Foy, age 48, led the Virgin Islands Party VIP to power 8 years after it was swept out of office, and he told Parliament even before being elected there had been prophecies from religious leaders that he would lead the territory, and that came to pass. He said given the death threats, personal security had now become paramount and hence the reason for his bodyguards. Finally, out of the Dominican Republic, at least 10 Puerto Ricans, 2 Americans, and 5 Dominicans were arrested in the country and wanted for drug trafficking and fraud. Additionally, they have been handed over to U.S. federal agencies. Sources from the publication El Nacional said 7 of the Puerto Ricans and 2 Dominicans being held in different parts of the national territory would be linked to the armed forces of Cantera. The other 3 Puerto Ricans and the 3 Dominicans are wanted on fraud, forgery, money laundering, and other felonies. In the case of the 2 Americans as well as the 2 French persons also detained in the Dominican Republic are wanted in both countries, accused of crimes including money laundering and rape. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. The alleged ringleader behind Sri Lanka's Easter Sunday bombings was killed in the attacks, President Maithripala Sirisena said. Mr. Sirisena said Sarwan Hashim, a radical preacher, died at the Shangri-La Hotel in the capital, Colombo. He said Hashim led the attack on the popular tourist hotel, accompanied by a second bomber identified as Ilham. The BBC's Nick Beek reports.
We're told that he was one of the attackers at the Shangri-La Hotel, one of the 3 hotels targeted. He is a figure who people are trying to paint a picture of in death, but it seems that in life he was a cleric who wasn't particularly successful in trying to convert people to his very hardline radical brand of Islam. We've been hearing that out on the east of the island he was ostracized. He was driven out of some Muslim communities because they didn't like the line he was taking, a very hardline approach to Islam. So It's hard to see now the extent of his network.
French officials say it will take 4 months to make Notre Dame Cathedral fully safe following the devastating fire earlier this month. French President Emmanuel Macron has said he wants the cathedral to reopen by 2024. The BBC's Hugh Scofield reports.
In a first progress report since the fire on April the 15th, officials overseeing work on the cathedral said the task of making the building safe would not be completed before the end of the summer. Currently, a vast tarpaulin is being stretched over where the roof was in order to keep out rain. Workers are installing a grid of horizontal beams to secure the vaulting, which in some areas has collapsed, and thousands of panels of stained glass are being taken down, a task which will be necessarily slow because of the search for clues as to the origin of the blaze.
A Russian agent who tried to infiltrate U.S. political groups has been sentenced to 18 months in prison, telling the court, "I destroyed my own life." Maria Butina tried to insinuate herself into the National Rifle Association in an effort to sway American policies in favor of Moscow. After pleading not guilty, she later reversed her position, admitting to a single count of conspiracy in December. The 30-year-old has been in custody since July. She will face deportation immediately after her sentence is served. Finally, a powerful cyclone smashed into Mozambique on Thursday, barely a month after a previous cyclone killed hundreds and devastated large areas. Cyclone Kenneth hit with winds of 140 miles per hour, flattening thousands of homes and flooding low-lying areas. The storm was then downgraded as winds fell, but heavy rains followed and are expected to last for days to come. Mozambique was still recovering from Cyclone Idai, which killed more than 900 across 3 countries in March. One person was reported dead in Mozambique after being crushed by a falling coconut tree. The cyclone had already killed 3 people on the island nation of Comoros. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Need a car but don't quite have the deposit? You don't need a deposit with Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. I've been waiting for this moment. Choose your Suzuki vehicle, sign up, and drive out. Get a brand new vehicle with 0 deposit, 5 years warranty, 1 year servicing, special finance and insurance, free flat screen TV with 3 months Flow TV package, free undercoating, free car care bundle, and so much more. Come in, sign up, drive out. Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In local basketball, the annual Inter-High Schools basketball tournament began on Thursday, April 25th at the Old Manor Court in Gingerland. Coordinated by the Department of Education and the Sports Department, the 3 competing teams are defending champions Gingerland Secondary School, Charlestown Secondary, and for the first time in the tournament, Nevis International Secondary School. In that first game of the tournament between Gingerland Secondary School and Charlestown Secondary School, the visiting team scored the first points but missed the hoop at regular intervals. Though Team Gingerland Secondary School missed a fair share as well, in the end, the defending champions and home team prevailed to win the game 47-34. In cricket, the International Cricket Council today announced the appointments for the league phase of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2019, which comprises the best 22 match officials from around the globe. The 16 umpires and 6 match referees finalized for the 48-match tournament include prominent members of the past World Cup winning sides who will play a vital part in the delivery of the May 30th to July 14th tournament that brings together the world top's 10 ODI sides. The opening match between host England and South Africa at the Oval will see 3 World Cup winners officiating. In cricket, England's Alex Hales has been suspended following an off-field incident, a spokesman for the batsman has said. Hales missed Nottinghamshire's One-Day Cup games last week for what the country described as personal reasons. The incident happened last year, and the player's spokesman added, while the issue is not cricket-related, he accepted it and was right when he was suspended. Hales, 30, will join England for a pre-World Cup training camp on Saturday. He is part of a preliminary 15-man squad named for the World Cup on home soil, which begins on 30th May. England's first match of the summer is against Ireland in a one-day international in Dublin on 3rd May. In football, Paris Saint-Germain forward Neymar has been banned by UEFA for 3 European games for insulting match officials on Instagram after the Champions League last 16 defeat by Manchester United. The Brazilian called referee Damir Shopmina's late penalty decision made using the video assistant referee system a disgrace on social media. Neymar, who was injured, watched United overturn a 2-0 first leg deficit. He will now miss half of the second season's Champions League group stage. Neymar said the penalty, which was scored by Marcus Rashford, doesn't exist. Neymar returned to action after a 3-month injury absence as a halftime substitute as PSG celebrated winning League One by beating Monaco on Sunday. Finally, in tennis, world number 1 Naomi Osaka began her clay court season with a straight-set victory over Shi Suwei at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart. The Japanese, who lost to Taiwan's Shi at the Miami Open in March, won 6-4, 6-3 to reach the quarterfinals. The victory ensures Osaka will retain the world number 1 ranking for at least another week. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, partly cloudy, becoming increasingly cloudy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Weather tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Winds east-northeast to east at 15 to 28 kilometers per hour or 8 to 15 knots. Seas 1.5 meters or 5 feet. And sunrise tomorrow is at 5:48 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 26 April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, High Court in Charlestown to be renamed in honor of Nevis's most senior lawyer. And Rollins granted bail following shooting incident at his home. Regionally, Jamaica Cannabis Authority approves 11 additional licenses, harvest expected in 4 months. Internationally, Sri Lanka bombing's ringleader died in hotel attack, according to country's president. And in sports, defending champions Gingerland Secondary School commences tournament on a winning note. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a safe and enjoyable weekend.